I did not study in Chabad originally.
What was the context of your first trip to the
My first
the
trip,
Rebbe?
a friend of mine told me, they're doing this trip for Shabbat. Let's go. Maybe you want to go. We'll spend Shabbat there by the Rebbe.
So you were joining like a Shabbaton, a Pegisha.
Yeah,
sort of.
Shabbaton of guys from Montreal, young guys from Montreal. I went, and it was after Shabbos passed. Sunday, I was waiting for my bus, the Hyman bus that goes from New York to Montreal.
I'm familiar with it.
Where
I spent a couple of years in yeshiva in Montreal.
And as I'm waiting for my bus, they're telling me the Rebbe is coming back from the Ohel. And I heard about it, so quickly I ran to 770. And there weren't a lot of people, so I stood on the right side. So like this, the Rebbe would notice me. I really wanted the Rebbe to notice me. Not that same day, the Rebbe gave me a bracha in French, bon voyage, bon mazal, bonne nouvelle, good trip, good mazel, and good news, as I was going to yeshiva in Israel. And here, the Rebbe, for a split second, looked at me in my eyes. And even though, usually when the Rebbe passes by, you follow him with your eyes, I didn't follow the Rebbe with my eyes. I was just continuing to look in the direction where the Rebbe looked at me. I spaced out somewhere. I don't know where I was. But I came back to myself. And that affected me. It was like one split second. But just like by dollars, when you have 5,000 or 6,000 people waiting for dollars, and the person before and the person after do not count, the moment the Rebbe puts his holy eyes on you, it's like, that's eternity. Or when you're at the Farbringen, there's 5,000, 10,000 people, and when the Rebbe motion said L'chaim to you, it was to you and not the person to the right or to the left. I think that in itself is the greatest lesson in success. The greatest lesson in maximizing your potential. Being so present that a split second of putting your eyes somewhere will have an effect, which will be an effect for eternity. And I think that's something that we've lost today. We've lost living in the present tense. We are so much all over the place. And I believe if I would have been diagnosed, if the word ADHD existed, I would definitely be one of these guys that had a four-letter word after my name. That's not PhD, but ADHD. And I want to tell you, it's been a struggle with me because I've always, I always wondered, why is it that each time I want to do something, I'm not fully immersed. I want to do the next better thing because I want to make sure that I don't lose out and I'm going to be the best at what I'm going to do. It was always like a tremendous struggle. So the Rebbe foresaw this. And when I was 20 years old, I wrote a letter with a resolution to the Rebbe for my 20th birthday. And it was 63 days before Chav Zayin Adar, which was when the Rebbe had a stroke. So for the Rebbe to answer such a letter, when the Rebbe was getting between 400 to 700 pieces of mail daily, is incredible. The Rebbe is dealing with life and death issues all over the world. Some kid, 20 years old, writes a letter with a resolution for his birthday. The Rebbe is going to take the time, and within 10 days, I had a letter in Manchester, England, where I was studying at the time. Why? What was so important? You might think I wrote that I'm going to be this, this person that knows the whole Talmud or studied all of the teachings of the Rebbe. No. I simply wrote to the Rebbe that I was going to be on time for each one of the 4 periods of learning. And the first 10 minutes, I would not speak to anybody. I would be fully immersed with my book already open when the clock hits the time. And like this, it was the best year of my life. Once I had the first 10 minutes of full focus, 2-3 hours passed by and I was present. I realized that this was a great message. The Rebbe
So that was the resolution.
That was my resolution for my birthday.
What was his response?
The Rebbe's response is, I'm going to pray for you. The fact that the Rebbe responded already was tremendous. But the fact that the Rebbe said, I'm going to go and pray for you, and basically encouraging me in this, I understood that this was going to be the key to all my issues. When I say my issues, the issue of, for example, the Rebbe instituted to study 3 chapters of Maimonides. And sometimes it's very long. And, I get lazy, discouraged. Tomorrow, I have the tomorrow syndrome, or whatever, to study Likutei Torah or other studies. It's like sometimes it's the page is there's too many words on the page. What's happened? And I realized the trick is very simple. I'm not studying for 2 hours. I'm going to take 10 minutes. But the 10 minutes, I'm going to be fully present. And once I had my first 10 minutes like this, I was able to finish so many different things that I would never believe I'm able to do. And that's why I advise most people. Everybody has an app, and in the app you have a timer, you put 10 minutes. For 10 minutes, I'm going to pay attention to my wife. For 10 minutes, I'm going to pay attention to my kids. I'm going to pay attention to myself. You know what? For 10 minutes, I'm going to breathe. We don't know how to breathe. We'll talk about that in a second. But that was, for me, like a great message from the Rebbe. I encourage you in what you're doing, because at the end of the day, it's not about the great quantity, it's about the investment of where you are.